We are gathered here tonight, the most wonderful people that knew the rabbi, and everyone seems to be so close to him like his children. And I came to say a few words about Mori Rabbi, my master, a world-renowned gadol. I learned with him about 12 years, day in and day out, sometimes way into the night. And even when I went to Los Angeles, I was there for 34 years. Of course, we kept in touch. I had a base in there, and many times when big shilas used to come in, he used to come in, and he used to help, he used to solve. He was like the Uri v'Tumim. He used to always get to the point. He was like the Amud Esh, Shelifnei HaMachaneh, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when Bnei Yisrael were going in the Midbar, the darkness. He was like the light, a tremendous light. The Gemara in Megillah, the Chavchet, when Rosh Lakish wanted to say Hesped, Lahu Tzurba Mirabanan, he was teaching only children, 24 rows of children. He said about him, Chasra Arad Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael is missing the beautiful person that was teaching Klal Yisrael, even though he was teaching only children. So a person that taught so many Talmidim here in Lakewood, tremendous amount of people, Gedolei Yisrael came out from him. Rabbanim, Rosh Yeshivas, have a whole list. And they all used to come when they visited Lakewood. They used to come to his little room downstairs with all the shilas. He was able to instill in us the love of Torah, but not just the love of Torah, the sweetness of Torah. Like the Ohr HaChaim HaKadosh says, that if Bnei Yisrael would know how sweet the Torah is, when a person learns it be'emes, with amkus, if they would know how much they will go crazy running after it day in and day out, not leaving a minute in learning. And that impression you got from the rabbi, Rav Yitzchak Abadi Zatzal. The Ahavas HaTorah, when I first came to Lakewood, he did to me exactly what Rav Aaron did to him. Rav Aaron was Mekar of Rabbi Yitzchak. He brought him close, and he put him into the right track. He steiged. He saw how big of a masmid he was, and how brilliant he was in his understanding of Torah. Slowly, he saw how much halacha he knew, and everything was so clear. In fact, when he came to Los Angeles, when I was the Av Besdin over there, when he came to Los Angeles, Rav Osher Byron and myself saw him, we picked him up, we learned with him a little bit. When we finished and he had to leave, we actually sat and cried. Because when he used to learn, his learning was like mamish, like a light. As he was reading the words of the Gemara, of the Rishonim, whatever it is, he understood exactly, clearly what it says. Didn't miss an ois. He didn't miss one word, didn't miss one letter. He knew exactly what he was saying. And that when he left, we were mamish at the airport, we were like two little babies crying. Rav Osher Bayan at the big Talmud Chacham, and we felt that missing as soon as he left. It says by Yeshua, so all the people that know Navi, it says by Yeshua that they weren't maspid Yeshua enough. So they all asked, what do you mean they weren't maspid? He was like Moshe Rabbeinu. He took them into Eretz Yisrael. He taught them so much, and he did so many things for them. He fought all the wars, the 30 wars he fought with them. Shemesh b'givan dam, he stopped the sun. He stopped the sun for Yeshua. And they weren't maspid him. And for that they got punished. that they weren't masbid him. It says that there were the nikvar, many of them were buried. So they asked, how come, what do you mean? It's unbelievable what it says in Farshim. Of course they were masbid him, but they weren't masbid him in the Torah that he knew and that he taught them. That was more important than all the stories and all the things that he did. Much more. This was his Torah was so important to them. And therefore, since they weren't masbid the Torah part of it, it's like they weren't masbid him. I know everybody said that he didn't want any Hesped, of course, but at least we can say things that we should miss him with and cry about it. Like it says by Aaron, by another Vaviu, that when they died in the Mishkan, the happiest day, the Medrash says that it was the happiest day for Hashem when the Mishkan was put up. And the children of Aaron died, so Aaron was not allowed to cry. But Moshe Rabbeinu said, "V'achechem yivkus asreifa asher saraf Hashem," and your brothers will cry for it. Why? Because we're not crying for the rabbi. We're crying for ourselves, that we were left like Yisraelim, that we were left without guidance, without any help, without any clarity in things. Like everybody mentioned, so many beautiful things that everyone that spoke. I was mentioning the Rabbanim that came out of him, Rav Heshi Brody, a Dayan from England, Rav Lezer Gross, there's Shiva Gdola in Los Angeles, and Rav David Hershmeyer, there's Shiva of Stamford, Connecticut, Rav Shlomo Gissinger, all of Shalom, everybody knows, Rav Shmuel Meir Katz, a place like in Lakewood, Rav Osher Bayan, like we mentioned. There were many, there's a whole list of Talmidim. And these were all guided by the rabbi. They were all under his wing at all times. Of course, since we were far away, we were mostly on the phone, but he came to visit us quite a few times. My son's bris, my simchas, and other occasions took them around to the yeshivas. He was a big inspiration to all the yeshivas and schools in Los Angeles. I went to visit my Rebbe 4 weeks ago, in Yerushalayim, Reb Michal Zilber, who is the Rav of Zvil Hasidim, and he asked. I didn't know that he knew the rabbi. He asked me, "How's Rabbi Abadi?" I was shocked because I knew Reb Michal Zilber for so many years. He never spoke to me about Rabbi Abadi. I told him he's not feeling so well. If we're Shleima and so on, he tells me, you don't know. When he was a little boy in Tveria, when Rabbi Abadi was a little boy in Tveria, and he knew him, he was very close to him. He had so much cheshek to go to yeshiva. He wanted to go to yeshiva, and he had no connection. In those days, it was very hard for a little Sephardi boy to go to yeshivas, to the big yeshivas. And he took him to one yeshiva in Haifa, and took him to another place. It was not enough for him. He had that strong cheshek to learn. Until there was an anonymous person, that till now I don't know who it was, that took him under his wing, and he took him to Chevron Yeshiva, took him to Chazon Ish, and eventually to Lakewood. Rav Aaron saw him, and he was makar of him very much, took care of him, and he learned to such a point that Baruch Hashem, he saw in him a genius in Torah and halacha, and he made him the posek of Lakewood. And from then on, it was only Atzlocha of Baruch Hashem. It says that Hashem sends malachim. Rabbi Bechaya brings it in one of the parshas, that Hashem sends malachim to hear what people say about the person, and then he can decide what to do, where to put that person. And here, Baruch Hashem, tonight, where so many beautiful things, It's amazing, amazing. Just want to know, a few things happened. I was zeicher to sit with him many times, like I said, 12 years. I used to sit in his room. I used to sit by him in the house on 7th Street before he moved. And he used to get calls from everywhere, like everybody mentioned. But there was a time, la'aleinu, la'aleichem, that he couldn't talk. He had to have a surgery and so on. And I used to answer the phone. I used to answer the phone, and he would write the answer. I would tell him what the question is, he would write the answer. And I would write back. Many calls came in as a reference from Rav Moshe Feinstein. People don't know that. He's in a very choshev people, Rabbanim. They were referred from Rav Moshe, go ask Rabbi Abadi. Same thing with the hair wigs of the Indian hair, that everybody made a whole big thing from it. The Rabbi Abadi said that everything's okay. Why? Because it has nothing to do with the Zohar. Rav Belsky held the same thing, and Rav Donner from England, who made the whole problem. The point was that I looked into it myself. I don't know if it means anything, but I have a whole booklet on it. The Indian hair never made it out of the Zohar. It was the priests that used to take it from the ladies. Of course, they told them stories that if they give them the hair, they're going to get Gehenna, and of course their own Gehenna, and therefore they used to give and give and give. And it's garbage. They used to throw it on the floor. They had no cheshivas for it, and Mimele has nothing. It never approached. Not over the Zohar, not the place, nothing. They used to do it in the farms. I have videos of it, and the rabbi was 100% right on that. He doesn't need my Haskama, I'm just telling you what happened. Same thing with we know, everybody knows there was show you how people care in certain yeshivas. And he was that type. I just want to describe the rabbi with a story, but this didn't happen with the rabbi. There was a young boy that went to yeshiva. They didn't accept him. He pleaded with them to please accept him. After a long while, they did accept him. And he was a tremendous masmid, this little boy. But he wouldn't learn the yeshiva Masechta, no matter what. And the Rosh Yeshiva was shocked. He's learning day and night, and he can't learn the Yeshiva and Masechta. So he told him, why don't you just a couple of hours, come to B'smadris and learn the Yeshiva and Masechta. The rest you can do whatever you want. And he used to learn from 7 in the morning till 12 at night, non-stop. Until one day, one bocher came over to him, an older bocher. He spoke to him, told him, maybe I can help you. Tell me what you feel, what's wrong. Slowly, he got to be friendly with him and so on. He told him, I have to tell you something. He opened up. He says, 2 months ago, my parents got divorced. And they're learning Gittin in the yeshiva. I can't stand looking at the Gemara. It hurts me. I cry every day. How do you want me to open the Gemara? That's the story. But what we learn from here, how much the rabbi fought against anyone that wanted to divorce his wife. He used to work so hard. He used to make them, when they used to leave his office, they used to feel sick that they even thought about it. He used to convince them, he used to clear their mind. He used to explain to them what it means to be divorced. The worst thing in the world, breaking a family. Hashem gave you a prize, and you're dropping it, and you could build worlds. You're wasting your time thinking about shtusim. They used to feel terrible that such a thing is in their mind. And that's why I witnessed myself, while I was with him, that not one divorce happened during his time. Not one. 3 months after he left the yeshiva, there was a divorce. And he was someone that he was stopping for a long time. To tell you how much he cared, how much he felt for people, how much he felt for family life, how much he wanted to build the taiva, the happiness in life. He brought a tremendous, the aura of seeing such a tzaddik. Like it says by Yitzchak Yaakov, Pana Ziva, Pana Hadar, like the one mentioned, now that Rabbi Yitzchak is not here, Rav Tzaddik is a tzal, is not here, we feel the absence, we feel what we're missing. He also got involved in kashrus, like you mentioned, but in a much higher level. They're on the other side of the kashrus. He wanted to instill the highest shechita in Lakewood. He looked into Beis Yosef shechitas. He went to Rav Shimon Epstein, alav shalom. He told him, is it possible to get it? He said, there's no customers for it. Who is going to buy it? I have glut, I have super glut. Glut. But Beis Yosef is higher than glut. You don't even open the sircha. You don't disconnect the sircha and the lungs. Let him, we should look into it. He said, okay, get a little group, and we'll cater that little group, and we'll see how it goes. And Baruch Hashem, it worked. Slowly, there was a little group, then another group, and another group. People were buying freezers to stock up from it. Today, there's not one city that has a frum community that doesn't have Beis Yosef. Not one, including Los Angeles, including Beverly Hills. You can find Beis Yosef everywhere thanks to the rabbi. People don't know where it started. And that's where it started. From that little nucleus with the Shimon Epstein Zatzal. He also had safras, like someone mentioned about his Sefer Torah. The safras that he himself wanted to learn how to write. Of course he knew the halachas, but he wanted to learn how to write himself so that he can write his own Sefer Torah, like it says, because of Les Hashira Azois, that the Melech should write the Sefer Torah, and he wanted to learn. He tried. But he made a whole class of 23 younger light that sat and learned safras. From that class, 3 Sefer Torahs came out, and over 20 Megillas, and so on. It's not that he had nothing to do with the outcome. But this is what happened. Maybe the person that wrote 3 Sefer Torahs, maybe he's up to 5 already. It's been a long time ago. And he was involved in everything possible. Tremendous Talmidei Chachamim that came to seek his help, his solutions, his advice. And there was a real big Rav that came from Eretz Yisrael. He had certain shilas and so on. So he asked his friend, who can I go ask over here? He told him, why don't you go to Rabbi Abadi? He's sitting in his medrash the whole day. You'll find him there the whole time. Okay? He went to Rabbi Abadi. He was a brisker, tremendous Talmid Chacham. He went and spoke to him, and he asked him his hundreds of shilas. And to each shilah, he mamish had his answer 100% to the point. And he said, I had to come from Eretz Yisrael here to find a Talmid Chacham that can answer my questions. And this is where the Ma'aseh Shehoya. We know the person, we know what happened. Amazing. And we can go on and on and on. The only thing is, Rabbi Isai, Zecher Tzedek L'Rocha, Hashem give us koyach to continue, and everyone that can learn from his ma'asim. It says, "Ve'ay havav ketzes Hashem es b'gvurosai," that we should be zeichem with Hashem to meet him in Olam HaEmes.